have a completely jam-packed transmission lined up for you on this live Sunday edition, the 17th day of April, this Palm Sunday, 2011. Let me just do this. Let me just give you a smattering of the news headlines, because this is my greatest frustration in life, is that there is so much incredible news that totally proves the scientifically organized social engineering of our society into an absolute control freak paradise for the corrupt, parasitic ruling class. Now, this has been on the books for years. Homeland Security, the Pentagon, the Fortune 100, Microsoft, they've been setting it up for a long, long time, but now they're rolling it out next year. And the government already listens to your phones without wiretaps, totally illegal. They torture people to death, totally illegal, and don't get in trouble. The foreign banks steal tens of trillions of dollars and won't tell Congress where it went. And when it finally lawsuits get filed and it comes out who got the money, it's newspapers, TV networks, MSNBC, your tax money, direct secret payments to engage in propaganda. I mean, that itself is an incredible level of brazen tyranny. And it goes on and on. But then I see news like this. Now, again, we covered this in Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, that we released last year. And I'm not going, oh, we covered this, we're on top of things. I don't territorialize information. My goal is to get it out to everybody. The problem is, as bad as this news is, it's only one small quadrant of a larger animal. Because when I read a headline like this, I also then understand the internet kill switch and the know your customer system and the total control. You know, when you talk about a cashless society, that doesn't just mean that you don't have cash. It means everything you're doing is being tracked and controlled, and taxes can be raised to a level that's basically unlimited. To fully control all commerce and to only let insiders basically engage in commerce. Now, what is the news I'm ranting about here? Obama moves forward with Internet ID plan. CNET News. Here's the Herald Sun. Sick of remembering your online passwords? Let the White House manage it for you. That's an actual headline. Here's another one out of Wired Magazine. Obama calls for secure online identity system. Now, number one, it was the federal government 6 years ago that began to, with the Real ID Act, force the states to put RFID chips in their driver's license. Almost every state's complied. It was the federal government that in federal workers' IDs put RFID chip. It was the federal government and big industry working together in collusion, because big business is the government now. They run things. They write rules that shut down their competition. They write rules that gives themselves the corporate welfare. We're going to get to bona fide evidence of that in a moment. But with this system, they come out and tell you they're going to protect you from identity theft, when it's the government's adoption of these cashless systems and the types of systems that they've ordered through the bureaucracy be adopted, that when you go study the actual real security breaches and interview the top security specialist in the world repeatedly, as we've done, they all agree it's government and the Fortune 100 that are adopting systems that are made to be penetrated and hacked and controlled, because then they can come in with even greater draconian controls all over the world. Going back a decade ago, before this stuff even got adopted by government, thieves could go around, sometimes from hundreds of yards away, other times from a few feet away, depending on what type of system they had, and scan your RFID-based passport, your RFID-based smart card, your RFID-based keychain or cell phone, whatever system you're using for digital wireless commerce. And so the government's answer now is make somebody thumbprint or face scan to be able to even get online. And you notice almost all the new laptops coming out, almost all the new keyboards have the thumbprint on them. Microsoft, what was it, 4 years ago, had built into their new operating system a internet ID by thumbprint. It's there waiting. Well, here it is. And that's just some of the news that's going to be coming up today. I want to give you my take on Donald Trump, my take on Ron Paul, Mitt Romney, these different Republican candidates that have all have their exploratory committees going for the 2012 election season that is basically already kicked off with Obama's speech last week. I want to go over that, and I'd already done research over the years on Donald Trump a little bit, but I wanted to refresh my research on him in the last week or so, because it looks like now he may not just be engaged in a publicity stunt. He may really be getting ready to run, and I've got some issues with that. He may be popular with kind of trendy women voters and people that want a tough guy, a sugar daddy to fix everything for him. But in Donald Trump's world, he ends up with more, you end up with less. And he's not talking about abolishing the Federal Reserve. He's not talking about the corruption of Wall Street, because he's neck deep in it. He's talking about, when we go over and help them Iraqis, let's take their oil. People are like, yeah, give us some money. The oil companies already got the oil. The globalists got it. We paid for the war. They already got the oil. Comprende? And it goes back to this idiot level, very simple psychological understanding that the general public has, that we get something out of the empire. And let's get that oil. That'll get us some money. The political ruling class steals whatever money comes into the Treasury and then some. And that's what the Republican leadership wants to scapegoat unions and teachers and illegal aliens and people, when you could get rid of all those folks today, ship them to the moon, and it wouldn't even put a dent in the 1.5 quadrillion in derivatives created by the big 6 megabanks that they've paid Congress off and threatened through threatening to implode the economy 3 years ago if we didn't sign on to it. Now, that said, the illegal alien crowd, over 90% of them, when they do end up voting or become citizens, I've seen the Gallup numbers, vote to take my guns. Over 90% vote to take my private property because the moment they get here, well, they're put on welfare. The teacher crowd, most of them vote to take my guns and my private property and tell me what I can and can't do with my life. They're a collectivist, socialist, control freak, communistic, dangerous group. Most of these unions are full of good people, but their money is taken, and almost every dime of it given to the most socialistic Democrats and to anti-gun groups. I've been to anti-gun rallies, victim disarmament rallies, and all you see is union people there. And so let's get one thing straight. I don't like this group of domesticated hogs who are on the government dole or on the government trough and who think they want to collectivize the world so I can be part of their nanny state. Let's get that straight. I don't like you. I don't like what you're doing. I don't like your overall general position. Does that mean all the illegal aliens are bad? No. Does that mean all the teachers are bad? No. Does that mean all the unions are bad? No. But your leaders, the big union heads, the Mecha, the La Raza, all those groups on every issue are the opposite of freedom. So I'm your enemy. Just get that straight. If I could have my Second Amendment and my taxes left alone and have my liberty left alone, I'd put a sombrero on and change my name to Sanchez. I could care less what color somebody is. But I don't want the giant, poor hordes of people from Mexico coming up here and being turned into political slaves to then become citizens and vote to take my guns because they think they're going to get some more handouts from the government. Same thing with the unions, all of it. I'd go join a union today if they would actually come out with the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We'll be right back with all the news. There's so much of it. I'm going to get into this whole internet ID, cashless society system.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
Look, here's the deal. Some days I get in here and I'm so frustrated and angry because I've studied history, I've studied our system of government, and I sit there and I look at my children, my 3 dear, sweet, intelligent children. I look at my wife, and I think about what type of future do they have? I mean, currently we're seeing the wages of globalism, the wages of a global corporate government is horrible. And then I see the general public. I listen to mainline talk radio, Republicans calling in, Democrats, libertarians, and very few of them really get it and understand what's happening, and that's what's frustrating. I don't then sit up here and feel like I'm really smart. It freaks me out that the system has done such a good job of deception and of dumbing people down that even though this information is really pretty simple, the public doesn't have much of a chance of ever understanding it. And that's why the globalists are doing such outrageous things. That's why they now admittedly take your baby's blood at birth for almost 40 years and kept it secret. That's why the UN gets caught and admits they add sterilants to vaccines worldwide. That's why governments in their own handbooks that we've covered here put the sodium fluoride in the water to reduce your fertility and give you bone cancer. And they write, again, all these books about why they're doing it to you, and they think it's funny, and they laugh that you'll never read their own publications, like the White House science czar, John P. Holdren. And the Pentagon announces that they are building the grid to take over the internet. And then 2 months ago, Obama comes out with an announcement through the Department of Commerce that they're going to start breaking in over radio and TV with government announcements, and that the emergency alert system isn't just over radio and TV now, but that they have control over the internet and the kill switch is in place. They're just trying to get the accompanying law now. But when I do get frustrated and angry, then I see things like these reports, and this is just 3 of many. Every report I looked at this weekend was negative. I've got CNET News, Herald Sun, Wired Magazine, Associated Press here somewhere, and I also, driving in to do the show today, out of my own studios, I was listening to our local affiliate, 590 AM, with the vignette that was playing with Kim Commando, who does have good general internet computer advice, and she was decrying this as dangerous and saying that it gives the government total control over your life. But to see the White House come out with a straight face and say, yeah, there's a problem with identity theft, and so the IRS is going to hold your passcodes and is going to look at and watch everything you buy, sell, and do. And we're going to have your health records there. And every other federal agency is going to have access, along with trusted major institutions. Now, you see, when you read a North American Union document, or you read a European Union document, we covered this in my film Endgame. The bibliography online is whatistheendgame.com if you want to see these documents. The Treaty of Rome and others. The deal Bush signed that on record was treason up in Waco 6 years ago with Vicente Fox and others, the Prime Minister of Canada at the time as well. It was secret for 3 years till Judicial Watch sued and got it. And when they sued and got it, it was a North American Union agreement. Well, right after that happened, Bush didn't care, and we have this in Endgame. He came out on C-SPAN with Merkel of Germany and Barroso, the head of the EU at the time. Now it's Herman von Rompuy. But Barroso gets up there, and Bush says, we've signed the North American treaty merging the EU with the North American Union. 2007, we were merged. I mean, we're in a global government. The UN operates under 10 regions publicly. It's in all the official government documents. My Texas Department of Labor documents are filled out and sent to the North American Union. If you read on the forms to the Office of the North American Union, it's all official. And when they sued and Judicial Watch didn't got the SPP documents from their meeting in Banff, Canada in 2006, the year after the deal in Texas, and the executives didn't have the power to circumvent the Congress in Mexico, the Congress here, the Parliament in Canada, but they did it. The executives signed it, and a year later, there's about 112, I'm going from memory, but a little over 100 CEOs of Mexico, Canada, and the U.S., and they were there in a 5-day conference, and the minutes are public now. And the first meeting point was, for trusted members of the media here, you're not, you've signed agreements not to talk about this. We've got to integrate North America through stealth, and so the #1 rule is secrecy.